8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Yes, we are the trending topic. Three relationship prophets. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest.
What's going on? It's your boy King Des here. Another episode of Brunch with the Boys. Thank you for joining us. What's going on, gentlemen?
Jezzy, what's good, everybody?
It's 21. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Mr. Gent, y'all. Yeah. I'm out here.
The problem is you're always sorry.
Wish it was 21.
I don't want any more sorry.
I wish it was 21. 21 Savage, if you hear this, come out here. We would love to interview.
Thank y'all for joining us today on another episode of Brunch with the Boys. We're so happy to have you here. What are we talking about today, fellas?
Man, we talking about dealing with your exes, man. We all got them.
God dang.
And you know, sometimes it's a bitch. You know
sometimes it ain't though, right? Sometimes it's cool.
It shouldn't be, but
work.
You know, it doesn't always go the way we want it. So we're gonna see.
Perhaps.
I mean, women are kind of unpredictable, don't you think?
Man, I can't. Yeah, I don't know if I'd put that on all women, but you do you, boo.
Mostly, you can.
I feel like I'm right at least 85% of the time.
Yeah,
maybe 60.
Strong B. That's the target goal, huh? I see you.
Women would say that men make them unpredictable. Would you argue that? I mean, if you fuck my sister, I'm gonna be mad. I mean, we're not gonna break up amicably.
Right? Wouldn't you be more mad at your sister though?
I mean,
she's the one with the responsibility to you.
I mean, but you know you're gonna still fuck with your sister.
Are you
sister.
really?
I mean, she's your sister, dude.
Your brother fuck your girl.
I'm not gonna really appreciate it, but I'm not gonna. Oh, I hate you, and you know what I mean? You're dead to me, shit. Yeah. I mean, he's my brother. He's a fucked up asshole, and I probably would never bring another girl I really like around him. Or you know what? I would, because if that bitch fuck her again, like, goddamn, it's the hoe. It can't be him. That nigga ain't that great. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got shit together, but goddamn, I mean, yeah. So, anyways,
all right, what's going on?
Let's go get him.
Let's pop it off.
So, tips for dealing with your ex. And the first one that came up was being patient and avoiding that uncomfortable fallout. You know what I'm saying? Giving them some space. Seems like the most logical thing to do, no?
It's logical, but I think that if you're in one of those really deep, long relationships, you kind of create a habit, and that person becomes your habit. And so I think your inability to stay away from or stay away from communicating with them is more difficult than you really think, man, because you know this is a part of who you become. You know what I'm saying?
For so long.
Yeah, for sure.
So you keep in contact. How long do you typically keep in contact with your exes after you're broken up? If you think back to your past,
probably like 6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Like if there's probably good intentions at the onset of the breakup. You're like, you know what? Just because we're not going to be together doesn't mean that we can't continue to have a good relationship. But then you realize after a while you're just not talking to that person as much, right? Because it's awkward, it's going to be weird, and then you kind of phase them out.
It's like a fade away.
Yeah. But I think if they weren't, particularly if they weren't your friends, you guys weren't friends before you got in like a romantic relationship.
Super easy to.
Should be then easier to break.
Much easier.
But then if you are friends, you find you you know what I'm saying, letting it linger.
Yeah, because the reality is friendship is an everlasting bond. And that's why people who set up their whole relationship on the premise of a friendship, those are the ones that are typically more successful if we're really real. So it's hard to dismantle that because that's the person that you're telling everything to, that you want to spend the most time with. You know, it's the one that you can get in a fight with typically and eventually get over it. It's the one that you always want to be in your life. I mean, think about your best male friend. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't even have to talk to that motherfucker for like a year. And when you see him, it's like you talked like 10 minutes ago.
I mean, they're different.
But friendship isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? True friendship isn't.
That's true.
So I don't think it sees gender like that.
When you stop fucking with her, you still hitting it? If you've made it clear that, hey, listen, it's a done deal, but she's like, hey, I understand, I respect that, but let's not pretend like the sex wasn't amazing. You know what I mean? You big black monkey stud. You know what I'm saying? That's what she used to call you. That was her nickname.
I probably didn't let her call me that.
No?
But nah,
Okay.
Nah.
But yeah. So you still hitting it?
Yeah, I think if she is able to handle not having the relationship part of that sexual encounter, then yeah, I can, because I can separate the two. I can say the sex is good, but we're not good in the relationship.
But can you though? Because let's just be honest. Let's say that you have that physical relationship and you find out that she let another brother hit it. Are you even remotely jealous?
If there were expectations set and she went outside those expectations, then yeah, because I'm like, that's not what the fuck we talked about, right? But if there were no expectations, then no, and I have to make a decision of whether or not I continue to mess with her or not. Yeah. That's it.
So you're saying no, you wouldn't even have no feeling.
It depends on what the
I'm just saying, even if the expectations, let's say you didn't set any expectations, it was wide open.
No, you have to live with it, and if you do, and she. Hey, I never told her how I felt. I never said, hey, I want this to be exclusive. So at the end of the day, you have to live with the result. I mean, you can't be cuffing these hoes mentally, nigga. Say something. You know what I mean? Speak up. And that's really what it comes down to.
I agree.
So what if you have kids with them?
That changes the game a little bit for me. I mean, DNA just feels like it's such a additional stronger tie that you've created something with this person. You're sharing another life with this person. There's, you listen to any other dude, sometimes they'll tell you, and even some women will tell you, that once you have kids, the baby daddy or the baby mama always has like a big toe in the dough. May not be able to have the whole foot in the dough, but it keeps the door slightly cracked.
I think many men would disagree with that shit.
No,
like, I am not fucking with that crazy bitch no more. She got my kids, but hey, that's it. I'm not even getting no head.
But here the question is, could you still hit it though? That's the question.
I don't think a lot of men will want to.
No, I'm not talking about desire. I'm simply talking about your capability to be able to still hit it. Because you have kids, do you believe that you could still hit it if you wanted to?
I think that I can still hit it.
Don't let me slap you.
I think the combination of kids helps, but I think the real reason I can still hit it is because when I was in it, she bust 5 times and she can't remember the last time a nigga did that. I was in the pussy for so goddamn long. So I think that's why I can still hit it, and it's not because we have kids, because at the end of the day, I can still be just another nigga. I think a lot of women linger because of that type of connection, because, hey, that's some shit you never felt. Who wouldn't go back to it? Bitch, give you something you never had before, you're far more likely to give her another call. You know what? I'm just keeping it real. So
I agree. We'll be talking about the power of the D on another
let's
episode.
Not get into that.
We won't go into that. But yeah, I still feel like that has something to do with it though.
All right, so you definitely don't want to threaten and name call. You always hear those type of women who are talking down to their man, and really men who talk a lot of shit about their ex.
Yeah,
that bitch wasn't shit anyway. She couldn't suck no dick. That's a real mean statement. A lot of women can't recover from that. It's a bad reputation to get in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something women got to work on too, though.
Yeah.
You ever been through any of that?
Have I had a relationship with somebody? Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and it was disappointing. It was disappointing.
Which part? That they couldn't suck the dick, or that you dragged her name through the streets?
I don't think I know what you're talking about, but nah, the fact that she couldn't suck dick. I mean, like that's some real basic shit. I mean, that's some real basic shit. There's plenty of study guides out there, materials.
I wouldn't call sucking dick basic, because to be honest with you, there's levels to this shit. You know
my point is, it's basic enough for you to be proficient, effective at it, without being a master, right? But enough for you to be like, okay, I enjoy this. Mm-hmm. Like when the feeling is, I would prefer you not do this. Mm-hmm. But I digress.
So what if you have kids and the communication is fucked up? Every time you talk, there's an argument. Communicate via email. Is that the first option? I drop the kid off at the gas station. You pick him up.
If it's all about logistics,
if it's a Wawa, it's safe.
I mean, a lot of
security.
I know, right? But I mean, a lot of people say that if you're talking logistics, text via text is the appropriate level of communication. If that's all that you really are
It's kind of hard to see
ascertain from
hating
that.
somebody that much that you had a child with that you wouldn't even want to hear
agree,
their
man.
voice.
Pick up a call, yeah.
Or even see them. You know, if you had to meet through a third party or some shit like that. And
You
there's
know what?
plenty
That's-
of that's going on.
Yeah, but I'm saying too, like, I mean, that's because you haven't been in a situation where you've had a significant other do something so foul to you that you literally hate them. And this may have been after you procreated with them, right? They could have been fine the first 5 years, and the last 10 they were the fucking devil. Do you know what I mean?
Normally how it goes.
So that's a possibility as well.
But kind of going back to that whole conversation in regards to like dragging their name and talking down to them, I know a lot of dudes that use that as a mechanism to almost kind of get over that woman. You ever heard these studies where people legitimately tell themselves a story and tell this story to 150 people, and by the time they get to the 50th person,
It's true now.
it's true in their life. Like they can visualize it. It's
Pathological.
imagery and it's reality all of a sudden. The Bible says there's power in the tongue, right? So at the end of the day, if you could legitimately say, I remember I had a chick that did me dirty as hell, lied her ass off, right? And one thing that I took from that so I can help get over is the fact that she was a bald-headed hoe. So what I did was when there was a Juvenile song that said bald-headed hoes, I ain't with that. And literally I turned that into a mantra, bruh. I said that 3 times a day in the mirror. Bald-headed hoes, I ain't with that.
So
and
you found
and I
demeaning
utilized
her,
that.
it would help you get over her.
I stepped over her body into another life.
So it took hating her.
Jesus
It took
Christ.
hating her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this you.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I know a therapist. I'm gonna refer you later, but
I finished my 6th session.
Dr. Sack, drive now. Yeah.
They added some drugs in now.
But no, I definitely disagree with your deep dark approach, but I do see how that can benefit.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things I want to emphasize, especially if you have kids, you just don't want to even bring family members in it either with the bashing and saying this and that to them, because it's really between you two. And I think when you tell your mom and your siblings, like, man, that bitch ain't shit, like she doing this and that, and especially if you lie, you know what I mean? There's no way for the mom to know, and then all this hate start getting circulated around your kids.
Agreed.
So, you know what I'm saying? You got to really, real careful when you have kids with these hoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. Dig.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into another tangent, but that's easier said than done. Let me tell you something. If everybody only fucked the people they felt would make good parents, there'd be a lot less fucking going on.
Yeah.
All right, we fuck bad decisions all the time. So,
and it seems to be more fun.
A booty in a sundress really does dissolve a lot of your normal thought process. of
barriers,
approaching
right?
Even if she doesn't have her life together,
Yeah.
even if she
Dudes
ain't
don't care about
shit.
that.
Oh yeah,
They don't care about that.
Yeah, I mean, come
They
on.
don't care.
At some point, we do.
Yeah.
At some point, we
grow
do.
up.
And in a lot of cases, we do. But the problem are the moments that we don't. And albeit temporary.
And it only takes a moment.
Yeah, albeit temporary, they do happen. So I can't argue that one. I can't argue that one. But
Good point, D.
So the next one they want to say is to use soothing tones when you talk to your ex.
Yes.
That was my version of soothing tones. No.
That's not me. Nah.
Yeah, you don't know how to do that.
No.
I've noticed that in the past that when I use that, you ever seen that, especially if you're in a customer service job, that you can hide behind a smile, right? So you could smile your ass off and then really be like, this motherfucking ass bitch, I'll bury this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But really what they heard was, have a nice day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just like that, huh?
yeah, it's just like that.
That's
Like you can do that, and it forces you to really respond differently. That's what it really is.
What about being agreeable, D? Just, I don't want to say be a doormat, but just in the sake of compromise.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Man, you don't have a
But
lot.
you know me. Like, would you describe me as agreeable?
No.
No, but I mean,
at
I would
best.
hope I don't have kids with you either, nigga.
Yeah,
So
but listen, my thing is this. I think you have to say, being reasonable and being agreeable are two different things. You definitely have to be reasonable, right? But being agreeable is just essentially going the way that the other person wants to, and that's not necessarily in the best interest of any type of relationship I would have with them and my kids. You know what I mean? So you got to say what's going to work with you, what's going to be best for your relationship with your kids or with that ex, and kind of meet somewhere in between. Just being agreeable isn't is that sustainable? Like, how long are you gonna take somebody's shit?
I don't. Yeah, I think there is limits to this shit. But I honestly will say I've utilized that as well, and it's one of those things that you do when you just really ain't trying to start shit. You don't want to be a part of no shit. You want
say yes to everything.
You want the
so
conversation to just
end.
go smoothly. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you're mitigating any conflict. So you just be like, yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, fine. Okay. Well, okay.
You're a very agreeable type man.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can be.
Yeah,
I can definitely be. Yeah. But I'm telling you, the thing is, I have limits to this shit, and the problem is that I'll allow it. And this is, I think, something you got to be careful about. You'll allow all of it to fester based off of the intake of what you're receiving, and then by the time it could be the straw that broke the camel's back, and at the end of the day, you have blown up Pearl Harbor. I mean, like, is on that level? Yeah, it's not good. Because, I mean, you did all of that for what? You still blew up the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm glad you know that. And one thing I want to say, not to get too far into it, but when you know yourself, fucking do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, let's not pretend. Let's not live that lie, people. If you know you're deficient in this way, own that shit and work around it, motherfucker. Stop using it as a crutch and an excuse to just continue to do it and say, well, I know that about myself. So what the hell are you doing with it then? I want a nigga who make a mistake and said, I didn't realize I did that. You know what? I forgive you. But motherfucker, if you know it and you continue to do it, you spitting in my damn face.
So there's a difference between self-awareness, and this is like a leadership competency too. So there's a difference between self-awareness, but if you don't have self-awareness with self-monitoring, it's easy to say, I'm aware of something, but really monitor when you do it and make an adjustment. That's the monitoring part of it. So I think you have to have both of it.
I think we gave him a little nugget.
Yeah.
All right, so this one I particularly enjoyed. They say you don't flaunt your new partner around your ex.
How bad is she though?
I think you gotta bring her around. I think you need to let her know you upgraded.
Well, now listen, y'all so stupid.
No.
First of all, what is flaunting? Second of all, if that person is gonna be a part of my life where my kids are involved, then you should want to meet them anyway.
Yeah.
You should want to see how they interact. You should want to be around them.
I think you know what flaunting is, though.
What?
You know, I don't know.
Like, bring out in her baddest dress.
No,
and pick
she
kids
ain't
up
the
from daycare?
baddest.
Like, what?
Yeah, man. Like, she looking too good. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. I think a
lot of people do that shit on social media. Like, and I don't get it either, but literally probably posting every vacation they've been on,
something like that. A new
you know
picture.
What I'm saying? You know, I just bought her a car, and like,
damn, you took it so fucking far. I was gonna say like a paragraph of feelings underneath a post, a car.
You know you're fake her though.
I mean, I'm different like
she's
that.
my new partner, nigga. Goddamn, shit. What did she do?
I'm different like that sometimes. I'm just saying. You know, I go hard in the paint.
And when you say paint, I feel like you mean ass, but we're gonna move on.
No, there's nothing wrong with that either, guys.
All right, so they say you can't be friends with your ex. What do you think about that?
I think that's ridiculous. I think you definitely be friends with your ex.
Yeah.
I think that if you're choosing the right person, even if it doesn't work out, because you gotta remember, man, relationships they fail for a number of reasons, right? It could be work schedules. It could be this person's job takes them here and this other person doesn't want to leave. It could be a bunch of things. It could be a one-time mistake that somebody's unwilling to forgive. A bunch of things. And so simply not being in a relationship with someone doesn't mean that you don't have similar interests. It doesn't mean that you don't enjoy that person's company. You just say, for whatever reason, I can't be in a committed relationship with this person. It could be them, could be you.
Yeah.
So you can definitely...
It's probably you.
Definitely situations where being able to remain friends, to whatever definition that is, can happen, for sure.
So what if you're in a relationship with someone new and you're still friends with your ex? Is that possible?
That's going to be problematic. It depends on
you. I know you. You a sensitive ass.
No, I can't be.
You see your girl and her ex laughing with a deep laugh. Yeah. Oh, nigga, your face shrivel up.
So this is no.
You
Hold
don't
on.
even want to talk that night. She started drinking whiskey and shit, double shots.
Allow me to respond to this.
Can I finish my shit?
No, because I feel like you always want to build this story.
I mean, that's a part of it.
And you do it to D all the time. And D doesn't appreciate it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
He seemed to be indulgent. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. I zoned out for a minute. To be honest with you guys.
No, but I'm gonna be honest with you. That is more jealousy, and I'm not jealous like that. So that won't bother me. I'm more possessive, and that is there's a difference. There's a difference. We've had this conversation. Jealousy is more of an emotional reaction, and possessive is more of a state of being a matter of fact. Like, this is mine, bruh. That's it.
But you're not.
as
So
you
you're
drag
not
your-
gonna
as
react.
You don't
As
have
you
the
drag
same
your knuckles on the ground.
Yeah, it's the same way. You know what I'm saying? Fred Flintstone. You know, and I'm dragging her.
So you're
you know
not
what I'm
gonna say anything to her. You're not gonna react. You're not gonna make
No,
an issue.
I
You're just
honestly
gonna
know
eat
that
it,
I
swallow
wouldn't
it.
do that. I've seen this in my life, and I've been through it, and I definitely haven't
I
reacted
bet
like
your
that.
face looks make up,
Bruh.
make up your face, make up.
My face all right, boy. You don't know me though. All right, so
All right. So I think it's just important to set boundaries, especially if you're in a new relationship. Let them know, like, hey, we're still friends. But listen, I'm saying it. I'm not really buying it as much for myself. Because if you say you about to go, catch a movie with your ex, and you want me to be cool with that, shit, you might be with the wrong nigga. That's all.
See, I'm cool with that, but to be
saying.
honest with you, I have to, step outside of myself and understand that my partner may not be fine with me chilling with my ex. If she's not all right with it, I think you have to consider the fact that if you really want to be with her, you have to consider plausibly stepping away from that friendship. I'm not saying that this goes or this is a blanket statement, but you may have to consider it.
I'm just gonna say I think the difference between men and women is real. Like, I have female friends that would never, don't ever try to have anything romantic with me, right? I don't believe that there's, and I'm making a generalization here, but I believe 99% of the time with men, their female friends, though they may not be actively trying to fuck you, if given the opportunity where they knew you'd be okay, they would absolutely fuck you. They absolutely would. Don't let one of your male friends tell your girl, we're just friends and I don't even look at you that way. You're like my sister. Fuck that. That is a lie. So my point is that I can definitely have a platonic relationship with a female friend who doesn't see anything within, with me, as opposed to my girl going to have lunch with a dude who I know she get one too many wines in her goddamn system.
Oh yeah,
trying to
he'll
get his
be.
dick wet.
But I think those numbers are a little off. I'd say about
Perhaps.
90%.
Okay.
Because I think because I think there's a lot of women that see men and have them as platonic friends. I have plenty of attractive females that I do not believe they looked at me in that way. I do believe they could see me as attractive, but also not want to jump on it. Because I've had attractive female friends that I never even looked at in that way. So I do think it matters. But what I want to ask you, too, D, while we have it, does it matter if you've had kids with her or not? As far as, still being friends with her? Because if you didn't have kids with her, why are you still so connected? Versus if you had kids, it would be more understandable.
Right. Like, if you have kids, first of all, you connected to that person forever, right?
Yeah.
People say, at least to the 18. Nah, motherfucker, because when they have kids, then they got grandkids, now y'all both back in the picture. So you're connected to that person for life. So whether or not you're best friends with them and y'all hang out, or you just make sure that you care about their welfare and you're there for them if and when they need you.
I agree.
That's going to be there. But to your point, if I don't have any kids, I have exes that when the relationship ended, we had intentions on being friends, right? That was the intent.
Yeah.
But there was nothing that really kind of connected us, right? Yeah. So after a while, we would hang out like, hey, let's grab lunch. And then one day somebody was like, oh, I can't. We have to reschedule. And then that person was like, well, shit. All right, I got to reschedule next time, too. And all of a sudden, it's like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, it does taper off like that sometimes. Yeah. It does.
So you're lonely one Friday night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
then you're looking for someone and you in your
like,
car.
hey, stranger.
You in your car outside a pool hall or something.
But see, that's where shit fucks up, though. When you dip your dick back in just for a second, you think, man, you done opened up the womb again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, literally.
Man, and it's just not worth it. But in that moment,
why did it take me so long to just hear what D said?
Yeah, you on it. But is it really worth it, though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe it was. Maybe buddy ate that pussy like, you know what I'm saying, you never had before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Being
saying?
nostalgic is a dangerous thing sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Because sometimes, too, it's better in your head than it actually really is.
Yeah.
So then you do it, you're like, man, I forgot I didn't even want to fuck with your ass like that anymore. Like, man, this shit wasn't even, man, I knew I ain't want that pussy like that, man. But in your head, you was like, man, shit, at one time, niggas, stop dreaming, nigga, wake up. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. Nostalgia is a
that's
motherfucker.
it is.
You remember all the good shit,
Yeah.
and you never remember the time the motherfuckers got on your goddamn nerves, right?
Every 5 seconds.
You forget
sex.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, damn. All right, so let me ask you this, Gent. Getting over your ex, what's the first thing you did to get over? Because the first one I know is what you did, so I asked
he
you.
probably started writing poetry.
I
and
mean,
shit.
there's
Oh
a
my
couple
God.
of things that you can do, right? First things that you could do is rebound. It's something. There's a trite expression or a cliche saying the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get under it, baby. Get under. You know what I'm saying? Okay, my bad.
That was creepy.
As always.
My
Creepster.
bad.
Stranger danger.
But another thing you can do is I try to get busy, bruh. Like I try to stay busy.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be in one you couldn't be in one location long enough.
I think that's the answer for every man, though.
Yeah.
The first thing you want to do is get some consistent pussy, something that you know will get your mind off of her when you need it, and then you got to find something to do. Hit the gym again, nigga, get back hard, and then you know what I'm saying, start balling. Yeah, it'll give you clarity, and you know what I'm saying. So if you're not hitting anything.
You get real frustrated.
Oh my gosh, you're not even seeing the
yourself.
big picture, and that's when you start doing dumb shit and start saying maybe you miss her. No, you don't really miss her. You just miss that nut right now.
Right.
Nigga. We gonna fix that, and then later on you'll be able to see who you're really supposed to be with. You know, take your time. Get
That's
back
the fact,
at
though.
it. You know
Dudes will seriously be like, I miss her, and really it's just you miss nothing with it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I think one of the first things you do, especially if you're living together, is get your own place.
Got to.
Yeah.
No.
Distance does help. I think distance and everything helps. Sometimes that means literally not talking for a certain period of time. I don't know if it's defined or not, but to a point where there's not as much negative energy in your interactions and gotten over a certain aspect of your feelings to a point where you can have a normal conversation that's more healthy than continuing to engage during a real stressful conversation.
And not engaging is one of the ways to get over your ex as well. You know what I mean? When they coming at you hard, like, you know what, dead it instead of what you know you can easily kill it if you wanted to. You know, deflect it and handle it in a way that is more beneficial for you, both sides.
But see, me and D emotional creatures in a certain aspect when it
think
comes
a lot
to
of men are.
Yeah. So you can get caught up in that cycle of going back and forth and you ain't gonna best me in this argument.
You two get like that.
We get.
I'm not like that.
D, I know you gonna try to pump fake that you don't, but
you become unreasonable.
You want to win a debate, an argument, by any
It's not that I want to win. I'm just right all the time.
See, that's that bullshit.
You become. I would say, I don't want to say unreasonable, but
no, say it like you said.
But unreasonable, unreasonable could work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely want to say you're so certain.
I'm passionate.
Yeah, that you're just not even open to any other possibility, and that's really what it comes down to.
But usually don't right. Be honest. I'm right a lot of times.
I mean, we can give you your fair share, but that doesn't mean you should be any less open to the possibility that even in that moment, nigga, you could be wrong.
Yeah, he's not moved.
And dog, that's all I ever want, really. And I know we talking about exes, but even in a relationship, you want somebody that fucking listens, that hears. You know what I mean? And if you can take that information that I give you and use it to our benefit so that we can interact and get along better, it only works. You know what I mean? So it's like for you to hear and say she just wants to be heard, and you're saying, no, motherfucker, I'm right. Is it that important to you to be so right?
I do that with y'all.
You know what I mean? Okay. All right.
With other men.
Now, all right, got it.
With other men. With women, though, I can be like,
No,
it's cool.
you're right.
It's cool, baby. It's cool. You got it.
All right, so what about ignoring phone calls and texts? Because you know
that's
these
some
days.
shit.
No?
Some sucker shit. I don't like that.
You don't think women use that tactic, or men in many cases when you have someone who's more overbearing and they don't want to get the picture?
I only know so I think context is important, right? And I only know from a man's perspective, right? If you ghosted some chick and she's trying to get some clarity on what the fuck happened and you're just ignoring her because you don't want to face it, that's some sucker shit.
Yeah.
But if you've had closed, you guys had this conversation, she just feel like when you told her, I don't want to be with you anymore, you was having a bad day, and so she keep blowing your phone up, that's different.
Yeah.
So I think context matters, you know?
Yeah, I also think that the more you ignore, the more you're igniting a fire that you don't want to ignite. I mean, there's nothing that a woman hates more than being ignored. Don't answer 28 texts and see what happens. They'll burn your house down while you're in it.
That's true.
I don't mess with them kind of girls.
Yeah, while you're in it.
Yeah.
I don't do violent girls like
And
that.
sometimes you never know until you know. No, you know. When she did that little kinky thing in bed, you knew.
You knew at least in the first couple months of relationship, she did some shit where you was like,
Man, that bitch should kill me.
got a little something in it.
If I fall asleep, right?
Got a little something in it. Nah, I want very regular, docile women. I don't want nobody got to be like submissive or nothing like that necessarily, but I don't need you to be all rah-rah and shit trying to lead the parade. Just
you don't need
relax.
If she start clapping while she talking, you know that's
like,
one of them.
I will fuck that. girl that doesn't know other people do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my
And when
God.
she sees it, she's in shock. Oh my gosh, how dare she act like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a classy girl.
I want her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got some great advice the other day, and it hit home immediately to me about not continuing to hurt yourself. You know, if you're trying to get over your ex, you know how they feel, yet you keep coming back, attempting, hoping, knowing this is what it is already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think sometimes in order to get over, you gotta accept it yourself and leave that person the fuck alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. I got a story about that.
Yeah, go ahead to us.
So probably like in my early 20s when I was moving from Michigan to Orlando, I was in a relationship in Michigan, and in a real relationship. I mean, that was probably that was the first person I took home to meet my parents, and I was like 24 at the time. So we were in Michigan. I hated Michigan. It was too cold, so I was going to transfer back down to Florida to finish law school up. So I had to move. I got to move kind of like a semester before her. She had like another couple months left in school. She wanted to finish it out. So I ended up coming down, and I was going to marry this girl, possibility. And so I ended up coming down, living with a buddy of mine. And I ended up living that single life for like a couple months, 2-3 months, to the point where she's supposed to come down. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to do that no more. So I basically didn't end that relationship well, right? You know what I'm saying? There was really no closure. She ended up moving to Tampa. I moved to Orlando. I was supposed to move back over to Tampa with her, and I ended up saying like, yeah, this ain't gonna work out. She's like, what the fuck? Like,
Bitch, I moved for you.
Yeah, nigga, when you left our house in Michigan, like we was gonna do this. You telling me this ain't gonna work? But I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work, and I really have an answer for it. I was young, I was immature, and but because there was no closure, I ended up like always sending her. Back then it was fucking emails. I ain't that old, motherfuckers that's listening, but it was more so emails than it was
I understand.
text.
No, you don't need to explain yourself. Okay.
so I'm going to send her emails like, hey, just checking on you, hope all's going well. You know that shit in an attempt to maintain some type of contact. Or,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be over in Tampa at this point. You know, maybe we can grab lunch. And all of a sudden she would, you know, it would be like she wouldn't respond, or it would take her like a couple days. Then it was like a week. And then I was like, oh, well, fuck you then. So she responded. I was like a week. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Then we kind of like phased out. But for a time, there was never really any closure. Eventually, we had closure. At this point, grown ass people. But there was really no closure. And so because there was no closure for me, that kind of maintained that attempt to have something. You know what I mean?
I think I agree with D. And a lot of the other pieces, sometimes you attempt to still make that connection because you again, going back to that nostalgic feeling that you feel like somehow you can replicate the good times, right? Or somehow you can still probably plausibly make this work. Somehow you can fix it. And at the end of the day, what you realize, sometimes you don't have the tools anymore to be able to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it matters too. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think it matters too if they left you or if you left them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the perspective on being an ex, you know, is very important. Because if they left you, there's a lot more shit to deal with because nigga, you didn't want it to end. You know what I mean? And you're in a position of power when you leave because it was a definitive decision on your exactly.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes you need that time to, especially if it's a long relationship, to unwind that. I mean, so sometimes it may take much longer than you think to get an understanding of why you are where you are right now and get an understanding what life may look like going forward. And it takes a long time to unwind that. If you don't have a partner that's willing to give that shit to you, man, that could fuck you up a little bit.
And you know what I want to say? What? I think it's okay to still love your ex, whether they leave you or whether you leave them.
Right.
I think it's okay to love them still and know that you're not supposed to be with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To care about their well-being, but not necessarily be a part of their day-to-day or active life, or you know what I mean, an active life. And even if you have kids with them, I feel the same way. So I think it's important to not feel guilty in any way about loving them and just knowing this ain't the person for me.
For sure.
And you know what I mean? Because shit, you obviously had good intentions or you wouldn't have got with them.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a very mature approach and perspective, though.
I tend to be quite mature.
Well, yeah, you also old, nigga.
On Tuesdays.
You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes on Thursdays.
I think, you know, in your
20s,
in your 20s and stuff like that, you haven't come to that level of sophistication in your thoughts sometimes. So, you know, things happen a little bit differently. But for any of my 20-somethings out there listening, if you ain't take anything from this message,
preventative measures.
Rewind back and listen to what Jeezy just said. So that's for sure.
Measures.
That's for sure.
So do you see any issue if you're with your ex and you still have that day-to-day interaction? Like, you still have that day-to-day.
So why y'all exing?
I mean,
y'all with each other every day.
We were literally just talking about best friends. What happened if that person still is your best friend? A lot of people break up, were in marriages, and that person was their best friend. And they're still in business together.
They almost still end up marrying them again too.
In a certain way, like literally. Sometimes it dictates the rest of the relationships, because they're like, listen, if you ain't cool with this, then let me know, because this relationship is important to me. So therefore, if you're not cool with it, I need to know how to move based off of your reaction. So
that's why it's important to understand what each other's kind of ultimate goal is as far as relationships go, because if you're maintaining a very close relationship with your ex, what is the thing that is keeping you from going back to that kind of initial relationship at any point? And are you by proxy of that, are you impacting your ability to establish other kind of positive relationships because you're spending so much time with a person who holds such a big part of your heart?
Exactly. You know what? A perfect example is Will Smith, his first baby mama. Real close. I think the difference is also Jada's really close to her. So is
that the norm though?
That isn't the norm, but let me just tell you, that's the thing. We need to stop making it sound as if people need to fit in a box. You make this shit what you want to make this shit, and then at the end of the no, it does sound good, but let's just be honest. If you want something to happen and the other person equally wants it to happen, and the people that you're bringing in your lives have that deep understanding as well that this is what it is, and you just want everyone to be one big happy family. I'm not saying everyone's going to be down for it, but there is always somebody.
But you just listed a lot of motherfuckers that got to be in accord. Like, do you know what I'm saying? This person and this person, this family member okay with, and this, like, that's a lot of people you got to get the okay from to see some shit in your life is okay with. I mean,
agreed. I'm not saying that it's not difficult. To Jeezy's point, it's the norm, but all that stuff is still viable, man. There is a win-win situation. You and that person are not meant to be together, but at the end of the day, you guys want to play a significant role in each other's lives. I'm just saying it's viable. It could be possible, and I'm playing devil's advocate, of course. But
when you get out of a relationship, do you become a hoe? You start getting it in. You just got out one. Is your first thought, let me nail everything that I walk across?
No, definitely not that. I mean, it depends on how the sex was in a relationship, right? So if you're in a relationship, you're being faithful, and you're not getting the level of sexual interaction that you need, then you kind of taking the leash off when you come out of a relationship. If y'all was just fucking dog out, you stupid. But if you guys were fucking normally and the issue was not sex, but maybe something else, then
that's less of a priority.
Yeah, you might not be, kind of grounded like that. But the good thing is that when you're single, you never have to turn anything down. You know what I mean? Because you're in a relationship. So
everything is an option.
Right.
God is good.
All the time.
Especially on
and
Sundays.
all the time he's good. Yes.
Well,
so would you ever pretend, say your girl leaves you? Would you ever pretend? Oh my God. Yeah. And I wish, man, if only they knew who we really are. She called, man, I left that nigga. He was crying like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I hear you though.
Never.
So say your girl leaves you and you see her again. Do you pretend to be happy, or do you let her see how you really feeling in life? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna see her at this event that you both happen to know people at the you're connected in that way. Or you put your best clothes on, you got a fresh cut, you want to see you look good, even if your whole shit, you got fired yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Legitimately,
Gucci
exactly. Yeah. Legitimately, I'm going to get an Academy Award by the time I leave that interaction.
You really
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. They say it helps to get over.
You will never know that there's blood in the water. I swear to God, you won't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be looking like, God dang, he living his best life.
And in general, whenever you're around them, you're never gonna seem down. You're gonna seem upbeat about it.
I don't have that.
They left you.
Keep it real.
Yeah.
What?
They left you.
Yeah, I'd probably keep it real.
Yeah.
I mean, you fuck with who fuck with you.
Exactly.
I
keep it real, but I'd be like, man, girl, you know I fucked up, man.
Yeah, real talk.
Real talk. You know I ain't want to do you like that.
Right.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
Stop holding the grudge. Being mean.
It's about making peace with the motherfucking past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had good times. We had some bad times. Ultimately, if you were acting right, I wouldn't be saying this. If everything was gravy, we wouldn't have gotten here. So own your part in it, and let's move on, make peace with it, and be cool. I don't think an ex ever has to be a bad situation. It's only that way if we make it.
Right.
And I know I'm never taking the opposite approach of that. So,
You know, one thing I wish we were able to kind of really dig into would be just like what happens if your ex reaches out to you and you in that solid relationship. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's case by case. I mean,
You know, how do you approach it? How do you even approach that initial conversation?
again, why would you? If you're in something good, why would you let something that ended fuck up something that you're good? Now, it's one thing you're in a shitty situation. You might be tempted. Maybe today was a bad day and she just caught you on that day. But, man, the past will never come back and get me like that, ever.
So
know
you
what I
feel
mean?
like if they're an ex for a reason, therefore you're only looking forward, never looking backwards. That's the way you think about ex
21
interaction.
Savage, now I got a ball without you. I'm going to quote the young gentleman, and he said, cross me in as fuck you forever.
Got it.
It's
So
what
that's
he
the
said.
way. That's
It's what
you
he
said
said.
that. You said that with your chest. Too,
Yeah,
so
and I
that-
don't mean that in the way that if we have kids, I'm never talk. No, I mean like I'm not fucking with you in that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And I think if we can become more definitive with our actions and shit like that, and not linger emotionally, like be real about your shit. If you wanted to fuck with her, you would have kept fucking with her. So if she calls you, hey, what's going on? No, I'm good.
D,
know
how
what I'm
you
saying?
feel about it?
Shit.
That's a good response.
No, I concur 100%.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Hard to get that nigga to agree these days. Yeah.
Actually, it's easy in certain
Very agreeable. Very agreeable. All right, man. So y'all know where to find us, man. Brunch with the boys. You know what I'm saying? That's
Always and
boys with a
forever.
Z. IG. Where else we at?
We out here.
We on Facebook, we on YouTube, you know,
iTunes.
Apple Podcasts,
Okay.
Google Podcasts, Spotify, whatever.
It's easy to find us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
any platform you want to listen to, man, we there, man.
And let us know what we want to talk about. Listen, we got a hot topic coming in next week. I'm not even gonna tell y'all what it is, but it's something close to my heart. So we're gonna have.
So that
it
means
on.
it has to have something to do with sex, basically.
Yeah.
It would be safe to say.
Something
It would be safe to
pussy,
say. You know what I'm saying? It would be safe to say. All right.
All right, man, reach out.
All right, y'all.
Yeah. Coffee and brunch. We can have our conversations over coffee and brunch. Ha.